Josh, how's it feel to be here? I mean, obviously, no secret, you talked openly about maybe even retiring after your last one, but now that you're here and you're back and it's San Jose, I mean, how does it feel?
It feels good. I'll let you know after the fight. If I lose, then it won't matter. I'll be like, oh, this sucks. But it is what it is, man. It's nice to be home. I love fighting at home. I love just keeping my same routine, waking up in my own bed, making my own food, doing my own thing. So it's nice. I mean, you've heard over the year, Forrest will say he doesn't like to travel and fight because you train 8 to 10 weeks to make your body work like a Ferrari that one night. And you throw it all out the door that last week, So it's a little frustrating, but it's nice to be home. No complaints right now. It's all good.
Obviously, you changed an opponent along the way. Did that do anything for you one way or the other as far as, good or bad?
I won't know until after the fight. That's another thing. So it's hard to tell. Like, obviously, the change of opponent, I couldn't change too many things. It was only a week. We had a week left till the fight. Bobby took the fight, and it is what it is. The one thing they have in common is they're young, explosive, both fast, and probably hard to take down, that type of stuff. They love to stand, but it makes perfect opportunity for me to test their chin. So it's gonna be a good night.
I just wondered if it was deflating at all for you. I mean, knowing that what you were going through to get to this point, and then you get there, and it's like, oh, great, a last-second opponent changed too. Like, come on, man.
Because they're different. That's what people know. I could have spent the whole last week trying to change everything and just made it more complicated for myself. But instead, I was just like, you know what? We've done this over and over and over again. Let's just keep things the way they are. We've done this whole 8 weeks. It's just stay focused on what the goal is. And the goal is just to go out there. Bobby's going to change no matter what. Even if I was training for Bobby, his style, it changes. He turns left, he turns right, he turns his shoulders, he turns his back. He does little things that not every fighter would do, like nothing that Michael would do. So in that aspect, they're way different. So why try and make so many changes the week of and make it more complicated for myself?
We talked about your feelings after that last fight. You kind of questioned the future a little bit. How long? That was the post-fight talk, obviously, but how long did you really think about what you were going to do after that?
I thought about it for a while, and the biggest reason why I thought about it is more or less because of the judging. Talk about I feel like all your dreams are ripped out from underneath you. You have something like that happen to you, and it's frustrating. Not only that, but then I had to really sit back and ask myself. I talked about this earlier in another interview about how I had to ask myself, because I tore my thumb, I tore some ligaments in my wrist, I have a fracture in my ankle, all during the fight. And I thought to myself when I got done, you know what? You're being kind of a sissy. I thought to myself during the fight that, woe is me kind of thing. Why is this happening to me? I know if I win this fight, I get a title shot. I should have just put it all behind me and just went out there and threw my hands and just shut the hell up, in my mind. I bugged myself. I got done with that. And when you start questioning yourself like that during a fight, you start wondering whether you still want to do it or not. Because the young Josh, when I fought Pat Healy, it was a tough fight. He got the takedown in the third round. If I'd have lost that round, I would have lost the fight. The whole time I'm thinking, if you just turn over and pull guard, you'll be okay. As I'm saying that, I'm back walking against the fence and I'm fighting back. In the Benson fight, there was a couple times where I felt like I should have just thrown more punches, done more action, did more things. It wasn't going to make my hand or thumb any worse, Who knows? Those are the things that were in my mind after the fight. When you start questioning whether you should throw more, do more, that's when you start wondering whether you want to still do it or not.
So what made you decide that you do want to keep going?
Lots of rest. A 15-week camp will take it out of you. And after 15 weeks, I was just like, man, I don't ever want to see the gym again. To and from, people don't realize we're hermits, man. We go to the gym, we come home, we eat, we sleep, we go back to the gym. I come home, I sleep, and and it's the same thing over and over. And for 15 weeks, lock yourself in your house for 15 weeks, and eat crap. Eat the worst food you could possibly think of. It's just chicken and broccoli and asparagus and the same stuff over and over with nothing on it. Okay, don't even think about putting salt on it. Forget it. So it's just those type of things that it gets you. 15 weeks will get you. It'll get you, and it got me.
Have you thought about what might have happened if the judges did go in your favor? Because most people thought that you won that fight.
Yeah, I'd be sitting on the Ultimate Fighter right now. I wouldn't be talking to you guys.
Josh, you're fighting at home. Do you got any pre-fight rituals?
Yeah, I don't shower today, tomorrow, and the next day. That's about it. Seriously, though, I don't.
You were keeping our distance.
Yeah.
You mentioned the bad part of camp, but so why do you want to go through that again? Or why do you want to keep going?
Because like I was saying, is that anytime you go to the gym, it's like a guy's night out every single day. So when you get to the gym, yeah, it sucks, but you're there with other guys that are suffering. Misery loves company, and there's other guys there that are in the same misery that you're in. You know, I mean, we got Kyle Kingsbury, you got Neil fighting on the same card, you know, and it's like they're going through the same thing I'm going through. So every day we walk into that door and we're like, F this place, you know. In reality, that's what we're thinking, and you know, but we're going through it together, and that's kind of what makes, I think that's what makes our group of guys, you know, good.
Well, I gotta ask you about not showering for 3 days. Is that strategy? I think Lyndon used to do that too, where it's like, I'm just gonna just be stinky as hell for this dude next to me.
I'm a rinse off, you know, because I cut weight. When I cut weight, I just rinse off, you know, and that's about it. It's a habit. I think I just might as well be stinky when I get in there. What's it matter?
How much of it's superstition?
It's become superstition now, you know. But I've been doing it since the Hermes Franca fight back in 2003 or something like that. Yeah, 2002, 2003. So that's it.
How much incentive do you have to not go to the decision on Saturday after the last fight? Are you thinking about that at all?
I think every single time a fighter steps in there now, they're probably thinking they don't want to go to the decision. I mean, you never know what these guys are going to do. So, and I was just saying this earlier, that it's not really anything against them. What it is you've got boxing judges that were thrown into learning MMA. They only know how to judge what they know. Right. And so they judge the stand-up more than anything. And if they don't judge the stand-up, then they over-judge the grappling, because they're not sure how much it really counts.
What can be done, do you think?
I mean, we were just, Almeida now is a judge. You've got Vitor Ribeiro, now he's a ref. I mean, you've got options like that are coming, because now we're in I'm the third generation, or third generation of MMA fighters, right? So the fourth generation's coming around. So the second and third will probably start picking up the slack, I think, and start entering into doing, you know, judging and reffing and stuff. We'll see. I think it's a great opportunity for the UFC to start putting in place, you know, using the fighters. They started using like Chuck and Matt and other guys, Forrest, you know, not just for PR stuff, but also just to help spread the word about the UFC. And maybe they can start sending them to educate the judges, maybe giving classes, I don't know, talking to them about maybe things that judges and refs need to know. Who knows?
Josh, I know obviously you're real focused on your fight, but it sounds like everybody's looking forward to Robbie Lawler and Matt Brown. I mean, that's a fight right there. So
I'm looking forward to Robbie Lawler.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm sure you'll be in the stands, you'll be washed up and ready. Who you got in that one? Who you got in that fight?
I'm you know, obviously I just want to see a good fight. I like both of the guys. They're always bring it. I think one's gonna run forward, and one's gonna try and stop him from running forward by throwing big hands. So it'll be a great fight for the fans. So I don't want to make a call on it, but I hope both of them are okay after the fight, because that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Josh, you were talking about Bobby a little earlier, how he's moving. He's kind of a mover. He keeps his hands low too. I mean, when you watch him fight, what do you think of it? It's unique. It's something that you don't see every day.
Yeah, it's not something you see here, you know, in MMA, but we see it in boxing all the time, you know. And you know, I guess I'll find out exactly. I always said, like, oh, you know, if Mayweather did that to me, I'd do this to him. Well, we're gonna find out if it works or not, because Bobby does that type of stuff. So that's kind of the routine of it. I mean, like, you're right. He does do things that are awkward and different, but that's what makes him unique, and I think that's what makes him difficult to deal with. You know, I mean, he's able to ink out a couple good decisions over some good people, and you know, I just got to make sure he doesn't ink out one on me.
Josh, who do you think's a more dangerous fight? I mean, Michael Johnson, that you were preparing for.
Bobby Green's a more dangerous fighter.
And is it because you haven't had a chance to prepare for him, or just even if you had the time?
He's just overall more well-rounded. You know, that he's not afraid to go to the ground. He's got just as good at wrestling. His style poses more threats than just a straight standard kickboxing style. On the ground, he's very submission defensive, but he's also not afraid to be on top. He's not afraid to try and work stuff himself. Whereas Michael's more of basically on the feet. He's got the standard of just the standard left-handed throw, jab, cross, long jab, straight left, whatever it is. You know, he mixes it up. Decent kicker, you know, but Bobby plays the game everywhere. I want to say like he's like a young me, but like he has that style. He's a little bit more flashy, obviously, than I was or whatever, but he's well-rounded. You know, he's young, he's athletic, he's not afraid to get in there and mix it up, and he's taken some tough challenges against high-level competition.
Do you think, you know, Michael Johnson's obviously had a pretty good run, pretty big name. Green, maybe, he's up there, but not quite as much maybe. So now this is a more dangerous fight against an opponent that doesn't give you the same kudos if you beat him. So how do you feel about that?
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does. But I talked about it with Joe, and I was like, I wanted someone ranked higher than Michael, too. But when we looked at the brackets, Jim was fighting Cerrone. Miles Jury was already matched up with somebody. Khabib is my teammate. Gray Manor is my teammate. They're both. Gray was already matched as well. Sorry, Gray was already matched as well. Khabib now is hurt, but I mean, regardless, he's still my teammate. Like, we really didn't have anybody. I just fought Ben. I think Kovalov just fought Ben as well, so they both just fought. So it was kind of like everybody was matched. And at the time, I was like, I knew I wanted to fight in San Jose. So Joe just asked me, like, you want the fight or not? And that's kind of how you got to take it. You take what they give you.